Today, DICE released the full details on the upcoming 6.0 patch for Battlefield 5, set to launch tomorrow, Tuesday the 4th of February. Besides introducing the new Chapter 6 content, the patch also brings with it a few adjustments for vehicles, maps and weapons, though comparatively speaking, this is a small patch and thus there won't be any need for a 10 or 12 minute video to explain everything of relevance today. Before we jump into the patch notes, however, DICE also released a short cinematic for the new Chapter 6 Elite today. Misaki Yamashiro will be unlockable for everyone as reward for completing Chapter Rank 40 in the upcoming chapter progression. In terms of new content then, as most of you will know by now, coming this Thursday with the start of Chapter 6, we will be getting the Solomon Island map, 3 new guns in the Type 11 LMG, Model 37 shotgun, and M2 carbine assault rifle, and 2 new gadgets in the Lunge Mine, originally set to release as part of Chapter 5, and the M1A1 bazooka, originally set to launch as part of Chapter 4. In terms of major changes and bug fixes, for the UI, we have spotted enemies no longer appearing as triangles on the minimap, indicating the direction they are looking at. Instead, we are back to the previous iteration where players were denoted by diamond-shaped icons, of course not giving away in what direction they are looking. We also have the introduction of an option to modify the strength of snap zoom on consoles. And in terms of the few weapon changes we have a muzzle velocity increase from 600 to 750 meters per second for the Ross rifle and Type 99 Arizaka, and the grease gun gets some more subtle tweaks to its suppressor audio to make it slightly more distinguishable from the non-suppressed variant of the gun. The wording of the Type 2A Mastery 4 assignment has also been corrected to correctly reflect the nature of the completion requirements needed. In terms of vehicles, what was supposedly to be the large focus of this patch, besides the couple of bug fixes that have come alongside with it, we have track disables no longer affecting the acceleration of tanks, instead simply their top speed, meaning they will be able to escape far better even if their track has been disabled, but will still be restricted from driving even close to their top speed when in that state. The critical angle margin has been increased from 10 to 20 degrees, which should make it easier for tanks or even anti-tank equipped infantry players to score critical hits on enemy armor. The AA and AT HMGs have seen an increase to their range potential in order to match that of the coaxial heavy machine gun, the most common secondary gun on many of the tanks in the game, at least if I remember correctly. And lastly, as regards vehicle changes in this patch, we have the Panzer IV, which should now have the correct number of AT shells when equipped with the relevant specialization, as that was previously bugged, which resulted in only 4 being available. Now, after DICE announced Update 6.0 would, amongst other things, make a number of adjustments to vehicles, any lack of balancing adjustments regarding the many issues currently surrounding aircraft, tanks, their interplay with each other and infantry seems quite disappointing to me personally, and I do wonder if DICE still has any intention of adjusting some of the more egregious vehicle balance issues in the coming 6.2 update. No news on that just yet, however. On a couple notes of map relevant changes, we have Wake Island, with the number of tanks being decreased to improve balance on breakthrough. Also, players will now be able to deploy even when their squad gets wiped during the last sector on breakthrough while playing as the US faction, a bug fix, presumably. And speaking of those bugs, in terms of the most notable ones that have been addressed with this patch, players spawning on tanks on Mercury will no longer unintentionally end up spawning on foot. On Outpost, players should no longer get stuck with the bomb planting equipment if the tower is destroyed while they're attempting to arm it, and AP mines should now correctly be functioning in Firestorm as well. The vehicle bust combat role should now correctly unlock for all players, so if you previously weren't able to equip that, most likely you now should be able to. So what's next for the upcoming patches for Battlefield 5? Well, it has of course been confirmed once more today as well that there are a whole set of weapon balance changes scheduled for the upcoming update. While damage, recoil, and fire rate values are set to return to values far closer to the 5.0 update, we have been told this will not be a complete revert of the 5.2 time to kill changes. Specifically though, we also now know that the remaining bolt action rifles that didn't receive an update in the 6.0 patch will see their muzzle velocities increased, with the Gewehr 9530 going from 600 to 750 meters per second, the Lee Enfield seeing a buff from 500 to 600 meters per second, and the Kar 98 as well as Krag Jørgensen getting a pretty hefty boost from their current 700 meter per second muzzle velocity to a relatively high 900 meter per second muzzle velocity. No further details, however, as to the nature of the patch or when it will be coming just yet, however. To many of us, I would argue, this is very much disappointing. But that pretty much wraps it up for Update 6.0. Feel free to share your own opinion down below. Enjoyed the video, rating would be much appreciated. But with all that being said, I'd like to thank you very much for watching and hope to see you in the next Battlefield 5 video.